Hello, welcome back. I'm Noreen Burke, owner of Call Clutter Fairy Home Organizing, and this is my YouTube channel, The Crafty Organizer. I am super excited to bring today's video to you because it's the first virtual organizing client that I've gotten to finish and share with you. So I had put out kind of a blanket request if you are interested in having me help you with anything as a virtual organizing client to send me pictures, send me files, and wow, were you guys ever eager to have my help, and I'm so blessed for that and so appreciative. I went through a lot of them and extended an offer to about 12 people and then whittled it down to about 8 for the first phase. I actually did have a couple of other people that I worked with. They weren't quite comfortable sharing images of their home and their situations with the world, and I totally respect that. I'm absolutely happy to help in any situation, but it obviously will help you more if you can see something and go, I get that. That's what my area is like, or that's exactly what I have. So I'm really excited to have someone who's willing to share it with the world so that we can see how we can help others as well. So without further ado, let's meet our first virtual client.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Schultz, and I'm so happy to be here and so happy to have been chosen to be part of Noreen's first batch of virtual organizing. And
so I got to meet Anna, and it was so nice getting to chat with her, see her space. She had sent me photos ahead of time, which is what set me up to know that I thought she would be a perfect virtual organizing client. And looking through her photos, which I'll share with you in just a moment, I could see that she was a micro organizer. And I had done a video before about how to break down categories. I've got that linked right here. But in doing so, she had broken things down so much that she was taking up extra space for all of these micro categories. So one of the first things we talked about was reeling that back in. But before we did a single thing, I really needed to know how she wanted to use the space. So that's the question I needed to ask.
It needed to be my office because I work from home. It needed to be my craft room and my sewing room. And it also needed to be a pretty place to have my guests. I only have a 2-bedroom home, so it had to serve all 3 functions. And I had to do it on a budget, which meant that I had to use everything that I already had, with the exception of maybe a couple of new, Dollar Tree organizers.
Does that sound familiar? I think so many clients that I get to work with are looking for a multi-purpose room, obviously on a budget, preferably with items they already have, or if they do need to get just a few things, keep them super affordable. And that's where I get excited. That is absolutely near and dear to my heart, to do things on a budget, repurpose what you have, and make a space multifunctional. As she had indicated, she's using this room as an office, craft area, and guest room when she has someone come to visit. So she has this little fold-out bed in the middle, flanked by 2 bookcases, and you can see it's just kind of become a collection space. But here is where I get excited. This particular entertainment center has a lot of open storage in it. And anytime I see open space, I actually get excited because it means that we can reutilize an area and make it much more efficient. So once I got to walk around and see the whole space, there was a couple of things that popped out to me that I didn't get in pictures. One of them was Anna had this cabinet that was on the right that was being used for her sewing supplies, except that it wasn't big enough to hold all of her supplies. So she was storing them in larger bins and keeping those in another room. And as she took me through a quick walk of the house, I went, Anna, what are those? And she explained, well, they're bins, but I don't like the look of them, and I'd really like to get them in the room, but there's just no space. And I went, that's it. That's our game plan. We are going to, and she was so willing to go along with my crazy ideas, we're going to spray paint those containers and line them on the inside so that they match the decor and look beautiful when you have a guest over. but that entertainment center has such big cubbies that aren't being utilized. These bins will probably fit perfectly in those spaces and match your decor. And you could just see her brain go, oh, yes, she totally went with my idea, and almost immediately went out and bought the spray paint to start doing those bins over. So that's what she did. She worked on the aesthetic of those bins. But then we also repurposed some of the other areas. Like I said, she had micro-categorized so many things. We needed to actually kind of bring all those small categories that were broken down and scattered and bring them back in so that we could get it into one home instead of lots of places. Once I had gotten to explain that concept to her, she was able to get these small things that were scattered and not being stored as efficiently into just one bin. So she did this with her coloring pencils and pens. And from there, she was able to also do this with other things. Another thing that Anna did is she thought about the way of repurposing boxes. She had some of those boxes that you get cases of paper in, and she already had this beautiful fabric that matched the aesthetic of her room, and she covered one of these boxes. So now it looks beautiful, but think of all the storage you can fit inside of one of these boxes. And I was so excited because this is something she did on her own. Something that she and I talked about extensively was it is going to get worse, it is going to get messy, and you might even hate me for a little while before it starts to get better. For this to really work, Anna needed to pull out all of the things from these cabinets and really get an overall category together. So she did this. This was a lot of work on her part. She has some health issues, so we took our time. One of the most important things that I convey to you as a viewer and to my clients when I'm working with them is this room did not happen overnight. So the process of taking control of it and making it work for you is also not going to happen overnight. And she absolutely embraced this and was very good at communicating when she needed a little bit more time and not pushing too hard. She did a phenomenal job. So before we get into the final reveal, let's check in. Anna, how are you doing?
Now, I won't lie to you, it's been difficult because you get frustrated when you pull everything out, everything everywhere, but you've got to do that. You've got to pull everything out so you can see what you have, donate what you don't use anymore. If something is broken or out, old fashioned and you're never going to use it again, move it along, get rid of it, throw it away, donate it, do whatever you have to do so that your space is your space and you can get to everything that you need. And that's what Noreen helped me do. So many times I've wanted to do something, but I go to look and I can't find it. Now I will be able to put my hands on anything that I need at a moment's notice. So I think you're going to be really, really happy with the transformation.
Let's review what these rooms looked like before, because this is such an amazing transformation. She really took the time to put together cohesive storage that would work for her, that was easily accessible, but also matched the need for it to look aesthetically pleasing so that she could go into this room and relax, so that when she was working in there, it was still a calm environment. And when a guest comes over, she doesn't have to be embarrassed about it being a double duty room. So once again, this room was a catch-all. But look at the after. This is a space worthy of anybody coming in, hanging out, relaxing, and not feeling at all like they're encroaching on a craft room or an office. This entertainment center was the perfect opportunity to expand her storage in a way that wasn't being utilized before. These usually had big cubbies because of the electronics that we used to have, so they're pretty deep. She took all of her books and video cassettes and DVDs and put them on top. Normally I would be against this because of fear of things falling over, but in this particular cabinet, the crown molding went around almost like a rim. So these books and cassettes and DVDs and CDs actually get to recess down about an inch. So she's not afraid of climbing up on a little ladder to reach what she needs, but the most important thing is they're safe up there. They're not going to fall on top of anybody. And as you can see, they completely fill up that whole space in such a wonderful way. The painted boxes are down here on the bottom right and left, and honestly, these look like high-end containers. In addition to painting the lids with that soft gold, She used the same coordinating fabric that she put on her cardboard boxes, but they're more muted because she put them on the inside. And I think this just looks beautiful. And then she took the upper shelves to display the things that make her the happiest when she's in that room. This is perfect. This is a wonderful way to reutilize something that wasn't being functional before and was taking up a lot of real estate. Next, let's talk about this cabinet. Now, there wasn't a lot to be changed here. Since this cabinet was already so micro-organized, we really just needed to talk about how we're using these supplies. So in this instance, we talked about the things she uses most frequently being front and center in the middle. Easy access, open the doors, grab them, be done. The things that she doesn't need very often, those can go down on the ground where she's not able to reach down and get them as easily. And then at the top, we just have some of the larger items. This is her sewing cabinet, and can you see how beautiful those small containers are? Again, she painted them and used the labels. Anything that did not fit in here is what we got to utilize in that entertainment center. Here's a reminder of the couch with the flanked cabinets, and here's what it looks like now. The biggest change was the containers on the top. If you have to have storage up above, go ahead and hide it in containers so that it just looks pretty. You're not even thinking that there's a bunch of random items inside of there because they're coordinated and they're balanced on both sides. She can put small labels on there so it's not obtrusive when somebody walks in to see, oh, printer paper. But she can see where something is when she needs it and easily pull it down. Now for this cubby and this bookcase, she just went through and really made sure what was inside those bins was easily accessible, and once again, in a container so that she could pull it out and not have to dig through these bins. And by doing that and purging, she was able to turn this shelving unit into something that was more decorative for the things that she really likes to see. So even though I think this looks great, the biggest question is, Anna, how do you like it?
Amazing. When I walk in that room now, it's my happy place. I know I can go in there, even if I'm not going to do anything. It's just so pleasant to know that everything is in its place. I can go in there to kind of escape the rest of the madness of the house with my dogs and sometimes grandkids coming in and out. And I can go have a cup of coffee in there or read a book, and it's just peaceful. It's my place. So I hope you enjoy this process. I know that I did tremendously, and I am so thankful to have found Noreen at the Call Clutter Fairy. She's going to become a lifelong friend. I know that. And she really is very good at what she does. So you guys just keep on watching and keep on calling her, because she is tremendous at what she does, and she really does it with her heart and soul. And I truly appreciate that. More than anything, I appreciate that. So thank you, Noreen. It's been a wonderful, wonderful process. I've enjoyed every step of it, and I look forward to the next stage of our project, which is my desk in a closet, so to speak. It's going to be the next stage of our project. So thank you again.
I'm always so excited to hear that a space is working for someone. Once again, she knocked it out of the park. Every time I would check in on her, she was already going to a couple of steps ahead of me. She was just so excited. And that's what I talk about so often. Once you take a couple of steps and you start to see progress, you kind of get that excitement and motivation about what it can be like. You start to finally picture what it could be. And that is absolutely what happened with her. Once she was able to wrap her head around that entertainment center and the idea of fitting all of her sewing boxes in there in a way that aesthetically matched what she really wanted that room to reflect, it was just a domino effect from there, and she was able to completely do this room. If you've liked this, please make sure you're subscribed so that as I'm doing more of these virtual organizing jobs with clients, you get to come along, which brings me to a huge favor. In YouTube, whenever you hit a certain amount of subscribers, you get a certain reward. They used to have different benchmarks, but now the first benchmark is 100,000 subscribers. I'm more than halfway there, and I'm so excited and very much want to earn that silver play button. But the reports I'm getting is that only 50% of my viewers are actual subscribers. So here's my favor. Will you please check below? And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, take a second to click it. Next to that is a notification bell. You can click that and you can choose whether you want to be notified every time I come out with a new video, if you only want to be notified sometimes, or if you don't want any notifications and you can just check back whenever you would like to see videos. That would help me so much, and I would be so excited to have you as a new subscriber. So take a second and click that. Also, please leave me a comment. Is this exciting to you? Did you see anything in here that you hadn't thought of before that can help me in your space? Also, right now, I'm only taking a few more spaces in November. So if you're interested in having me help you virtually, I will leave that link in the description below. So make sure you check that out. The way I get to do these virtual organizing jobs is through my Patreon. So I have to give a huge thank you to them. Their donations on a monthly basis are allowing me to take on these clients at no charge, which absolutely warms my heart, and I'm so appreciative to them. So thank you, Patreons. Thank you, Anna, for letting me not only come in and give you my crazy ideas, but get to share your journey of this with my viewers. That's all I have for today. I will see you guys in just a few days. Bye.